Here we go, guys. Game number 2 kicking off here in our Korean online qualifiers here for MLG. I am Nursky, and joining me, the man full of bountiful amounts of information. He, of course, is...
Tumba. It's Tumba, and happy to be here with you, Nursky. Thanks so much for inviting me to cast this with you. Looking forward to it, of course, the Korean qualifier. Very exciting, pack full of good players. Let me introduce two of them. One who, as I always say, needs no introduction. It's the Emperor Slayer's Boxer, spawning in the Northwest as the Red Terran. He will be facing off against Oz, spawning as the Blue Protoss in the Southeast. So there you have it. Those are your players. About to kick this thing off on Tal'Darim. Nursky, I'm excited. How about you?
I am absolutely, positively, completely excited. I don't know if I could add any more words onto that to emphasize how much I enjoy watching some really good players play StarCraft 2. Always a pleasure to be casting for MLG. I mean, I couldn't say any more good things, I think, about it. You know, it's just so good to be seeing such great players cast, or getting an opportunity, I should say, to cast them.
We were talking about the previous MLGs here before we started the cast, and we were saying, you know, Boxer actually tends to get pretty deep into some of the MLG tournaments. Last year, Anaheim, of course, taking, I believe it was third. His own teammate there, MMA, eliminating him in a very, very earned victory.
Yep.
And, you know, Oz didn't get to participate in all of the MLGs that he wanted to last year, but did make it to the national championships, and I believe was knocked out by Lenok, who went on to win the tournament.
Yeah, Lenok was beasting that tournament, to say the least.
Yeah, no, for sure. He was in a different mode, in a different zone. Of course, Lenok, one of the younger players in SCII, I believe still only 16 years old.
Yeah, so. Lenok, very, very, very young kid. Which, I mean, is pretty something to be expected, I'd say, especially in esports, where, I mean, when you're younger, you got less responsibilities, a lot easier to spend, you know, several hours playing StarCraft 2 every day, honing your skills, versus some, you know, random guy with a job or something like that. So, one of our younger players, but very talented for his age.
Yeah, absolutely. We see some other younger players as well on the rise. Val, Illusion, Poke Bunny. Hopefully we're going to be seeing these guys at MLG events as they get a little bit older, a little more refined in skill as well in StarCraft 2. All this young talent is wonderful. Actually, Illusion, another young player we were just talking about, making his way down to Sao Paulo for that tournament recently here, which is amazing that his parents supported him for that. But let's get into this game a little bit. As we can see, Boxer already almost completed his second command center here.
Yeah, it looks
economy going.
Looks like Boxer is going to be opening up the same way he did in game number 1. Not a huge change here for Boxer. Now, on the flip side, we do see here that Oz has actually gone one gate, but hasn't gone for the fast expand this time. Has actually been mining gas the entire time. Didn't pull off. Went for a much faster expansion in our last game. Is going to do the one gate expand, but is going to be a little bit delayed compared to last game. Took a very decisive expansion in our first game. Boxer did move out to try and pressure that with a pretty quick concussive shell push. Not sure if Boxer's going to do that again in this game or not. He has set up a pretty defensive position, I'd say, grabbing that really fast bunker. So Boxer might not be going that route this game, but we'll have to wait and see. We do see just a single tech lag coming down, so I don't think we're going to get a very early pressure from Boxer this game. So Boxer going to be kind of content to just macro up in the early game here. Would not blame Boxer at all for doing that. I mean, with that real decisive nexus after one gate play that Oz did last game, by the time Boxer really committed that push, Oz had just enough defenses to make Boxer think twice about it and turn around. So I think Boxer this time wants to play a little more defensively, have a little bit better econ advantage moving into our mid game. But just as I say that, here we go again. Is getting that fast concussive shell. Does not have a double tech lab though, so Boxer might be looking to get aggressive once again. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, actually, Stalker poking up there, taking a little bit of hull damage as the force of Boxer's Marines roll down his choke. Boxer Marines, stronger than anybody else's Marines. He's got like super Marines. My Marines don't work that way.
Yeah, it takes a certain skill set to make your Marines work that way.
I think his just hit harder. His the bullets just work better out of Boxer's Marines guns. It's just the way it is.
hold the phone, though, because we have a 3-gate pressure that's gearing up here for Oz. He's actually snuck a pylon over here near Boxer's third, sneaking in another pylon. Boxer just has one bunker with a single Marauder back here. He has a lot of his forces out in the middle of the map. Now, Oz does have his front relatively undefended here. Now, the question is going to be, can Oz hit here before Boxer realizes what's going on and turns around? We do see Boxer actually now turning around with his units, but if Oz can hit before Boxer gets back, Boxer could be in a ton of trouble. So it's just going to really be a matter of whether or not Oz can hit in time to make this pressure work. We do see Boxer retreating back here to his natural. Really worried for Boxer here, but I think he is going to get back in time. But here comes the pressure from Oz moving forward. A lot of sentries in this. We'll be able to throw down force fields to try and prevent the repair. One force field goes down. Looks like he's going to save him. Traps Boxer's units there. Zealots up on top of him. Boxer does have a hold, though, trying to get through there. SCV's trying to get over there to repair the bunker. Will get there almost in time. No, the bunker goes down, and it looks like Oz might be able to break Boxer's front, but Boxer holding pretty firm here right now, but having to push forward with a lot of his SCVs to try and hold this. Looks like Boxer might be able to clean this up. That concussive shell playing out huge for Boxer right now as he cleans up the Zealots. We see a couple sentries now left for Oz, and it looks like Oz might be forced to retreat. Oz thinking, I think, about warping in a second round of Zealots here, and he is going to warp those in. Throws down some force fields, but actually ends up missing all of Boxer's units. Boxer now just picking off units left and right from Oz, and I think Oz is going to have to give up on this pressure. You see him retreating back now to his second pylon. Big push there by Oz, though, Tumba, because right now if we look at the economy, 46 harvesters for Oz and just 29 for Boxer.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing. This is what makes this, well, hold that thought, as we do see another engagement here where Boxer looking to actually take out this other pylon and these other forces, but man, not a ton of micro actually out of Boxer right now at the moment. Really no stutter step there. Dying to those Zealots. He lost a lot of Marines and Marauders to those Zealots. He wants to focus down these sentries, of course. It's a lot of heavy gas investment out of Oz. And going to follow it up. It's like more aggression out of Oz.
Oz actually manages to clean up. Now we have 3 Marines of Boxer moving forward. So apparently the Super Marines of Boxer took a coffee break there during that push, and it really has cost him now, as Boxer in a really terrible spot. Oz's economy way up now on Boxer. We see an SCV poking in to see if Oz has taken his third, but that's going to hardly be the issue for Boxer. We see the double forge now for Oz. Oz favoring that gateway style play into High Templars in this matchup. Goes for some pretty fast High Templars normally, and we see right now a lot of gateways getting added on. I think Oz might smell blood in the water here. That push, despite the fact that he didn't actually really damage Boxer's bases, forced Boxer to pull off so many SCVs, and the Zealots just shredded them, and Boxer is going to have a hard time playing himself back into this game.
No, for sure. Absolutely right. And, you know, Boxer was so concerned his 3 Marines went right past that proxy pylon. He didn't even bother to destroy it. And actually, now that I mentioned that, there you go. We can see Oz warping in from that pylon. A single Zealot now wants to check and see if there's a third. And he will look at this timing. The timing for both of them has been phenomenal.
Oh, but more importantly, he's going to spot these 2 medevacs moving out.
Exactly.
Will force Boxer to drop the Marines out.
Exactly.
Boxer might pick these back up, but now Oz is going to be more than aware that there could be a dropping away. And now we see Oz gearing up to take his third. Oz is looking to be in such a good position, really looking like the old Brood War player's secret that he used to be versus, you know, some of the struggles he's had, honestly, as of late. Hasn't gotten as far as he probably would have liked to in some tournaments.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we can see now Boxer going to go ahead and take down these destructible rocks, looking to expand himself. You know, he's got to be a little frustrated at this point. Supply is equal, but unit counting station has not been able to catch up quite in SCVs. Mules will make up a bit of the difference, 47 SCVs to around 58 probes. And, you know, it's one of those things where Boxer did a great job getting back in time to defend, and he had no vision. I checked. He had no vision of that proxy pylon, but he knew something was up. Stalkers going to come out against a lot of Marines here, Nursky. Blink has obviously finished. That will help.
Good blink, though, by Oz. Manages to get away from that Marine Marauder force just before it can get on top of them. The the obligatory scouting factory moving forward once again. But Oz has vision all over the map right now. See pylons spattered all about the map to spot any drops by Boxer. Aware of everything Boxer's doing, but now making an engagement with the Marines. Needs to be careful, but Oz gets out of there with no hull damage on any of his stalkers. Very fast reaction timing there by Oz to get out of there, and Boxer just now starting to take his third. Would not be surprised at all to see Oz actually take a fast fourth, but not doing that, and actually decided to go up to robotics tech before even taking his third. Going to be getting out an observer. I'm going to be very interested here to see what Oz is going to do. Income-wise, we can see that Boxer actually has caught up since Oz has gotten kind of complacent for a little while here. Boxer now up to 58 harvesters compared to the 60 of Oz. So Oz kind of getting a little bit lackadaisical with his macro there and allowing Boxer to start to catch back up here. So Boxer not out of this yet, Tumba.
Yeah, no, Boxer definitely not out of this yet, but he was put pretty far behind by Oz early on off the back of that 1-gate expand. Now, 1-gate expand into 3-gate pressure, into 4-gate pressure, double forge has become so very potent in this matchup. And then that sets you up to go ahead and segue into some of the more popular things you see now, like Charge Lot Archon, as well as you can add, of course, Colossus or DTs, as we saw in the first game. So really, the 1-gate expand into 3 to 4-gate pressure is the way to open, I feel. Especially, you know, Tal'Darim against Boxer. He even knew something was up, but hold that thought, as you can see, looks like they're going to meet in the middle of the map again. I think Oz just trying to delay until extended thermal lance is done here.
Yeah, I like what Oz is doing with these blink stalkers. We've seen players like Huck do this a lot. Just have a little roaming pack of blink stalkers out on the map, poking at your opponent, trying to wear him down, force them to use medevac energy. And now we do see that Boxer will spot that Colossus, and it looks like he's going to turn around, but now loading up a drop here, sending 2 of his medevacs to try and pressure the bases of Oz. Oz is going to spot this, though. These stalkers might intercept this double drop, and if these stalkers can take this out, it would be huge before it lands. And the stalkers blink forward, get a fully loaded medevac, second medevac on an only drop 4 or 5 of the units out, and now we see Boxer going to be forced to retreat over here in the middle of the map at the same time as Oz pushing forward towards Boxer with those Colossus. Colossus just taking a tiny bit of damage, but now Boxer actually sending his medevacs alone forward. I'm not sure what Boxer's doing here. Boxer kind of falling apart, leaving these medevacs in the middle of the map. Oz desperately trying to get over there to pick off these medevacs, but Boxer, it looks like, will luck out and is going to manage to pull these medevacs back before he ends up losing them. That could have been a huge loss and a monster mistake by Boxer.
Yeah, there is no doubt. Oz, of course, still chronoing out those double forge upgrades, and I think Oz may be content to just really sit right now on a little bit of his lead. And as you said, see, the thing was, initially he had those blink stalkers around the map, and that was just to really slow down Boxer until he could get his Colossus out, extended thermal lance would finish. And, you know, he had to keep him at bay, had to keep him deterred and away from his base. We see 3 stalkers heading to the right, and this is what I was talking about. Korean players, man, they're always active on the map, so very active. And now adding, I believe, back in the main, Templar Archives now. So, wow, that's going to put Oz in a great position here. It's really a thing where he's going to, I think, outclass
here we
Boxer's
go,
army.
though, Tumba. Storm research getting started, but Oz is actually moving towards Boxer's third, and Boxer only has a handful of Vikings to deal with these Colossus, so Boxer's going to need to be very careful. You see him being forced to pull all of his SCVs off the line once again. Here comes those Vikings to try and deal with those Colossus, but with only 3 Vikings, they go down before they get a single Colossus. 1 Colossus down to 18 hit points, and right now Oz has most of Boxer's forces trapped here. Boxer could be in a ton of trouble. 1 Colossus does go down. Here comes some more Vikings to support in, but I do not think he's got enough Vikings in time. Boxer really didn't build a whole lot of Vikings there to deal with these Colossus, and these Colossus might be the difference maker here, as Boxer just getting absolutely shredded right here at his third. Don't think he's going to be able to hold this. I think this might be it for the Emperor, Tumba.
Yeah, Emperor in a lot of trouble right here, as Colossus still quite alive with full shields. Not much gateway support left, but it doesn't matter because there's nothing left in the tank for Boxer. So there you have it. Once again,
wow.
You know, Oz just able to best him and didn't even, as you said, was researching Storm. Storm had almost finished, but didn't even really need the High Templar at that point. He was ready to go in with the extended thermal lance and take him out. So great job by Oz.
Yeah, and honestly, even if Boxer had managed to hold on there, he had to throw all his SCVs at Oz for a second time in this game. So he was down to 48 harvesters compared to the 70 as Oz. You guys can see as the replay's completed that he was down in a big way. And even if he could have held on there, probably would have been out of the game. Of course, yeah, muling, very potent, but when you lose that many harvesters at this point in the game, when you already lost a ton of harvesters early on, it is so hard to come back. Boxer had a medevac on the way towards Oz's base, was going to be trying to drop him, so had a few of his forces out, but honestly, I think Boxer made a crucial mistake there. Besides the fact that in the early game he had to throw away some SCVs, he saw the Colossus out on the field, I think underestimated how many Oz was going to make, only built 3 Vikings initially, and then when they attacked in, Stalkers were able to pick off all the Vikings with really good force field positioning and Colossus positioning by Oz over here near the 3rd. Picked off all the Vikings before they got a single Colossus, and those Colossus, man, if you cannot take them out, they just absolutely decimate ground units.
Absolutely. Against the bio army, you're in big trouble. So, yeah, I agree, man. I feel like Oz just took the initiative from the very start of the game, never gave it up, and really put Boxer in a tight position and put all of the pressure on Boxer. And that low Viking count combined with the potency of Oz's army was a recipe for disaster for Boxer, but benefited Oz quite well, as you can see, knocking Boxer out of this bracket down to the loser's bracket. He shall go.